Hi, I'm Karandeep.Sohel, Director of Contract Recruitment at Charlton Morris. Already, as of 2019, IR35 has been implemented in the public sector, and as of April 2020 it comes into effect in the private sector as well. HMRC has designed IR35 to ensure that contractors provide a legitimate service to companies. This is to avoid contractors acting as employees and gaining the fiscal benefits of contractor status. I'm joined here today by Helen Phillips, Director at the Contractor, who we've partnered with in relation to IR35 and compliance advice. Morning Helen, thanks for joining us. I guess probably a good starting point is tell me a bit about the Contractor and what you do.
So we're a small legal and compliance company. We help recruitment agencies, payroll companies and contractors in terms of their risk assessment in their contracts, IR35 status, and also their compliance, such as are you able to work in X country. In terms of IR35, we've always offered IR35 advice in terms of all of our contract reviews. We've now split our services, so we're working with some payroll companies to offer specific IR35 risk reviews. And on top of that, you can also have the full review, as in what are you allowed to do in this contract? Do you have any major risks?
So from your side, what impact can you see IR35 having on the contract market in the UK?
To be honest, nobody can really predict it. I mean, we're going off what clients are going to do, and we've got some clients who have come right out and said we are not having contractors from April 2020, and that just flows down to the market. So you then have contractors that are panicking. They've all decided they're either going to go perm or they're going inside. Payroll companies are loving that. They're pulling them all on board. They're making so much extra revenue. But then you've got other ones who are looking at it from a more logical point of view. So the way that we deal with new laws that come in, as with GDPR, you have to look at the intention behind it. So the government didn't turn around and say we're going to stop contracting. They said we are sick of people who should be employees paying less tax, which is fair enough. And if we all looked at it in that way, clients would say, well, you are a true contractor, you can continue working for us. And the market would flow much freer, we'd all understand what was going on. So we're just waiting to see what the reaction is going to be.
So how do you think that the introduction of IR35 will affect the contractor, the client and the recruiter?
Again, it depends which way clients go. So if a client turns around and says no more contractors, that's going to impact their entire chain. Recruitment companies are going to have to either take on board, they need to work in more perm sectors. Contractors might need to take on board that they can't be a contractor anymore, they need to go into a perm role. And they might even just start looking elsewhere. They might turn to Europe, they might actually decide to leave the UK. Again, if you've got the more reasonable clients who decide we're going to go down the route of still using contractors but ensure they are actual contractors, I think it will make things fairer. The government will be happier. Contractors will know where they stand. Someone will have done a proper assessment, told them you are outside of IR35, you don't need to worry, and they can get on with life as they know it using their limited companies.
How have clients reacted to the introduction of IR35 in April 2020?
It's been extremely mixed. Obviously we've got the big major banks who have all turned around and said we are not taking any more contractors from next year, and that has had a huge impact on everyone else because, well, if a major bank is doing it, maybe we should be doing that as well. And I think it's a lack of understanding. They're having people from insurance companies who are going round with their assessment tools, which is great, but then they're being told the opposite by payroll companies who are trying to get people to go on board and use them as their umbrella or on payroll. So there's too much confusion, too much conflicting advice. Clients don't really understand what they're doing, so other companies don't know how to copy them, agencies don't know how to react to that, and contractors again are just left unknowing what they're going to do.
What advice are you giving to your clients to prepare for adapting to the introduction of IR35?
At the moment, we're acting more like therapists in that we are just trying to calm everyone down. It's the same as with GDPR. Everyone's stressed. Everyone took an approach that we can't collect any data, when actually we've seen that's not the fact at all. And we're doing the same with IR35. We're just trying to tell people if you are a contractor, if you are a true contractor, if the assignment you're doing is not one that an employee needs to do, you are absolutely fine. The government does not want to stop contractors completely. They just want the tax that they feel should be owed. And it's just making things fairer for people. Like, we can assess your contract, we can see if it states what you've been told by the client. We can tell you this assessment is from a valuable person, they're known in the industry, they're going to ensure whatever assessment comes out of that. So we can point you in the right direction, but again, we don't know what's going to happen, so there's no point stressing about it that much.
With the recent general election, a lot of the parties have talked about the introduction of IR35 and possibly reviewing it or scrapping it altogether. What impact do you think that will have?
I think things have gone too far now for it to be scrapped. We've got draft legislation in place, companies are making internal changes, contractors are panicking and running off all over the place. For it to be scrapped now would cause quite a lot of upset. Honestly, I don't know. They might turn around and say it's not happening anymore, but I sincerely doubt it.
Do you think that there may be changes or adaptations of it if it's reviewed?
I would hope that the rules might be a little bit more lax, just to allow contractors to feel a bit more secure with the roles they're taking on. At the moment, there's quite a lot of panic. You know, I'm working in this role for 6 months. Does that mean that I'm automatically an employee? We don't know how strict they're going to be. So I would hope that it is reviewed. We would have a better understanding of exactly what a contractor is and what is deemed employment.
I'd like to thank Helen for coming in today and providing an insight into what the contract doctor does and IR35.